There's now been a second arrest in the Haridwar hate speech case in which extreme right-wing leaders had called for genocide of an entire community. Saurabh Shukla joining us with the details of that. Saurabh, what are we hearing?
Finally, Ankita, Uttarakhand police has arrested Yati Narsinghanand, who in fact organized that Dharm Sansad which happened last month from 17th of December to 19th of December. In fact, in that Dharm Sansad, Yati Narsinghanand said that they will use a modern weapon against Muslims, and after that he did not stop there. He was continuously giving hate speeches against Muslims. In fact, when Jitendra Narayan Tyagi Aka Wasim Rizvi was arrested on 13th, he was also present there. In fact, he started protesting against the arrest, and he told the cops who were present there that you will all be killed. Tum sab mare jaoge, tumhare bacche mare jayenge. Those were the exact words from Yati Narsinghanand. So that pressure was building for his arrest. In fact, retired judges, several retired officers, army chiefs, A4 chiefs, they had written letter to Prime Minister and President regarding these hate speeches. So finally, the case was registered against them. The last week of December last year, 5 accused were named, including Yati Narsinghanand. So finally, today in Haridwar, Narsinghanand was arrested and he'll be produced before the court tomorrow. Ankita.
Saurabh, thanks so much for those details. The BJP released its first list for the Uttar Pradesh elections on Saturday and said Yogi Adityanath would fight from his own stronghold of Gorakhpur and not Ayodhya. Is Gorakhpur really a safe option? Well, that's the big question. In today's list, the BJP also named candidates for 105 other seats, of which it won 83 in 2017.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will contest next month's assembly election from his stronghold, the Gorakhpur urban seat, and not the temple town of Ayodhya or Mathura as speculated earlier. On Saturday, the BJP held a press conference in Delhi and announced its plans for the UP elections. BJP has named candidates in 107 seats. The party won 83 of these seats in the previous election, winning MLAs from 63 of these seats have been retained, with just 20 new faces, a significant departure from party's usual formula of dropping 40% of sitting MLAs to beat anti-incumbency. The BJP's first list has Yogi Adityanath, Gorakhpur City, Keshav Prasad Maurya, Sirathu, Shrikant Sharma, Mathura, Pankaj Singh, Noida, Mriganka Singh, Kairana, Suresh Rana, Thana Bhavan seat, Yogesh Dhama, Bagpat, Sangeet Som, Sardhana, Nand Kishore Gurjar, Loni, Bibi Rani Maurya, Agra Rural, the former governor of Uttarakhand.
आदरणीय योगी जी हमारे मुख्यमंत्री की दायित्व में है, वो गोरखपुर शहर से चुनाव में पार्टी की ओर से प्रत्याशी होंगे.
On Yogi contesting from Gorakhpur, SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav quipped that BJP has sent Yogi Adityanath back to his home in Gorakhpur even before the results.
कभी कहते थे कि मथुरा से लड़ेंगे, कभी कहते थे अयोध्या से लड़ेंगे. मुझे खुशी है इस बात की कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने पहले ही उन्हें अपने घर भेज दिया. अब मुझे लगता है कि गोरखपुर में ही उन्हें रहना पड़ेगा. अब गोरखपुर से वापस आने की उन्हें जरूरत नहीं है.
Meanwhile, the Bhim Army chief Chandrasekhar Azad, who met Akhilesh on Friday, made a dramatic U-turn, calling Akhilesh anti-Dalit and saying there would be no alliance with the Samajwadi Party.
अंत समय में मुझे लगा कि अखिलेश जी को दलितों की जरूरत नहीं है, तो कहने से नहीं चलेगा. तो हमने तय किया है कि अभी हम समाजवादी पार्टी के साथ गठबंधन में नहीं जा रहे. और 2 दिन में निराशा हुई कि 1 महीना 10 दिन के बाद उन्होंने कल अपमानित किया. ये दुखद है.
Akhilesh Yadav has now announced he will not be forming any other alliances or absorb any more leaders wanting to quit the BJP.
समाजवादी पार्टी से जो भी उन्होंने बात की, मैंने उसी समय आरएलडी से बात करके रामपुर मनिहारन वाली सीट छोड़ दी और साथ ही साथ गाजियाबाद भी सीट मैंने दी। 2 सीटें पूरी दे दी गई थी। उसके बाद उन्होंने किसी को फोन मिलाया। अब वो फोन किससे बातचीत हुई ये मैं नहीं जान सकता। और उसके बाद वो आए कि मेरा संगठन मेरे खिलाफ है, मैं चुनाव नहीं लड़ सकता हूं।
On the occasion of her 66th birthday, BSP Chief Mayawati released a list of 53 BSP candidates by holding a press conference and said that the law of defection should be more strict.
BJP has never lost in Gorakhpur seat from 1967, which makes this seat very safe. Yogi Adityanath will be the candidate. This will improve the chances of BJP in eastern UP, especially after Swami Prasad left and joined Samajwadi Party. Harishankar Tiwari, who is a strong Brahmin leader, he is also with Samajwadi Party. This will help BJP to grow and defend themselves in eastern UP. In Lucknow with Bilal, Saurabh Shukla for NDTV.
The Election Commission has extended the ban on political rallies and road shows in the 5 election-bound states by a week until the 22nd of January. That decision was taken after a series of meetings between the Chief Election Commissioner and health and election officials of the 5 states. The EC has also decided to allow indoor meetings with a maximum of 300 people or 50% of the capacity of an indoor venue. The EC has also asked for strict compliance of COVID protocols and the model code of conduct at all times. All remaining guidelines issued by the poll panel shall also continue to operate. The EC has taken action against the Samajwadi Party for blatantly violating its ban and organizing a massive rally in Lucknow on Friday. The EC has now issued notices to the Samajwadi Party and suspended SHOs of the local police station. It has asked for a written clarification from senior police officials on why this was allowed to go ahead. A case has also been registered earlier against SP leaders under the Pandemic Act.
मैं आपके माध्यम से सभी समाजवादी पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता नेताओं से भी अपील करता हूं कि जब भी पार्टी कार्यालय आए तो जो प्रोटोकॉल है कोविड प्रोटोकॉल को पूरी ईमानदारी से फॉलो करें। जहां हम लोग फॉलो कर रहे हैं वहीं हमें सभी कार्यकर्ताओं से अपील करता हूं एक बार फिर, क्योंकि चुनाव बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। इस प्रोटोकॉल के बहाने भारतीय जनता पार्टी ये भी साजिश कर सकती है कि जहां समाजवादी पार्टी के वोट ज्यादा हों एम्बुलेंस खड़ी कर दें।
The Congress has also released its first list of 86 candidates for next month's assembly election in Punjab. Chief Minister Charanjit Channi will fight from his seat of Chamkaur Sahib, while the party's state unit chief Navjot Sidhu will be fielded from his Amritsar East constituency. Deputy Chief Minister Sukhjinder Randhawa has been given the Dera Baba Nanak Sahib ticket. The state's other Deputy CM Om Prakash Soni will fight from Amritsar Central. Sonu Sood's sister Malvika Sood will contest from Moga. India added 2.68 lakh new COVID cases on Saturday, raising the overall tally to 3.67 crores. While the increase in cases is marginal, the daily positivity rate has increased from 14.7% to 16.66%, which seems to indicate that while positivity is rising, not enough people are testing right now or reporting their tests to the authorities. Many people have been self-testing themselves using rapid antigen COVID kits at home. In the last 24 hours, cases are up less than 2%, which sounds encouraging, but that's clearly not the true picture of new cases. It's clear that India's daily tests have not kept pace with the speed at which cases have shot up in the past month. Now, cases are up 265%, but tests have only gone up by about 4% or so. Importantly, the most important metric, which is the positivity rate, is continuing to spike and has crossed 16% today. This shows that more and more tests are turning out to be positive. And cases have been shooting up in all the election-bound states despite the Election Commission's continuing ban now on rallies. Uttar Pradesh cases have seen a 556% rise, in Uttarakhand 450%, in Punjab 290%, Manipur 259%, and in Goa cases have risen by 234%. All of them are well above India's average percentage rise. In Delhi too, clearly not enough testing is happening. Delhi reported 20,718 new COVID cases and 30 deaths in 24 hours. Delhi's positivity rate is at a whopping 30.64%. The drop in testing is clearly behind the drop in Delhi's cases. Now, Delhi's positivity rate remains at 30.64%. There's a 36% drop in Delhi's COVID testing. The big question many people, including parents, have been asking this time is what effect the Omicron variant has on children. Worries, of course, have increased in the national capital after it was reported that 3 children who were COVID positive also died. But doctors have clarified that their COVID positivity was incidental. They were already hospitalized for other serious conditions. Meanwhile, a 1-month-old baby has successfully battled COVID and returned home from Delhi's Mulchand Hospital.
The highly transmissible Omicron variant is reaching children too. At the Delhi government's Chacha Nehru Children's Hospital, there are 14 children in the COVID ward. 3 COVID-positive children have died here in the past week. The medical superintendent says that although they are counted as COVID deaths, none were admitted because of COVID symptoms, but other severe diseases like heart failure, anemia and blood disorders. Their COVID positive test was incidental, says the doctor, and that there is no cause for panic.
मेरा ये मानना है कि पेरेंट्स को इस चीज़ से डरना नहीं चाहिए कि बच्चों में कोविड बहुत सीवियर हो रहा है, बहुत डेथ्स हो रही है, लेकिन उन्हें स्पेशली उन पेरेंट्स को अपने बच्चों का बहुत ध्यान रखना है जिनमें कोविड के उनकी एसोसिएटेड कोमॉर्बिडिटीज ऑलरेडी हैं. जैसे मान लीजिए कोई बच्चे को डायबिटीज़ है, या कोई बच्चे को ओबेसिटी है, या कोई बच्चे को हार्ट में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, किडनी में कोई प्रॉब्लम है. कोविड नॉर्मल बच्चों में, नॉर्मल हेल्दी बच्चों में इतना प्रॉब्लमेटिक नहीं है. जो आप अभी बोल रहे हो कि 3 डेथ्स है, वो 3 डेथ्स इसलिए कि वो ऑलरेडी बच्चे बहुत सीवियरली सिक बेबीज थे.
Recently, the health ministry shared some data that out of 97 deaths that occurred in the national capital in the span of 4 days, 7 were of children, creating panic that the new Omicron variant was leading to more severe disease amongst children. But Delhi's doctors say that the vast majority of these children had severe comorbidities and they didn't actually present with COVID symptoms. And across the country, doctors are saying that the Omicron variant is not yet leading to severe disease amongst children. Symptoms are mild and most can be treated at home. Abdominal pain and vomiting seem to be new COVID symptoms in kids.
Typical symptoms which are coming up are fever and scratchiness in throat, some running nose, or sometimes it's just a dry cough. And of course there are children who are also coming up with abdominal symptoms like vomiting.
A 1-month-old baby admitted to Mulchand Hospital for an ear infection also tested positive for COVID.
On examination we could find that the baby was very irritable. COVID in small babies, they can present with fever, irritability, decreased feeding. So it can be incidental, but it can be COVID ka presentation. There is absolutely no need to panic. See, COVID is again a viral infection which we in this way we are seeing that we need only symptomatic treatment.
Much to the parents' relief, the baby has now been discharged and is healthy. With Pavan Kumar, Meher Pandey for NDTV.
Mumbai has recorded 10,661 new COVID cases on Saturday and the positivity rate stands at 19.54%. 11 COVID deaths were also recorded in 24 hours. The news continues right after this quick break. There have been massive crowds at Jallikattu or bull taming competitions in Tamil Nadu held on the occasion of Pongal. No COVID protocols being followed, no masks worn, certainly no social distancing at all at this particular Jallikattu competition. This after the Tamil Nadu government on Monday permitted the bull taming sport to go ahead despite rising COVID curbs. In fact, on Friday, an 18-year-old was also killed at such a festival in Madurai. The Northeast's first integrated artificial intelligence-enabled airport terminal has begun operating. The new integrated terminal building of the Maharaja Bir Bikram Airport in Agartala was inaugurated for passengers, with the first flight arriving at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. The beautiful state-of-the-art airport began its services after being inaugurated by the Prime Minister on the 4th of January. Delhi recorded the season's lowest maximum temperature at 14.8 degrees Celsius, with thick fog blotting out the sun altogether. The minimum temperature at the Safdarjung Observatory, which is considered the official marker for the city, settled at 6.1 degrees Celsius, a notch below normal. The news updates continue on NDTV 24/7. Do keep watching.